gentlemen. Welcome back to another segment of the Meetme360 podcast. I'm Alexander Barry Kemp, and Meetme360 is a high-class dating experience which deals with creating compatible matches, helping our clients grow in the process of mate selection. Wow, didn't get tongue-tied. But with this podcast, our goal is to help us build, as a nation, a deeper, more meaningful relationship with whoever we're in a relationship with. But today's segment, I have a special guest. And guess who's joining us? Gia. Now, before I introduce her, I want to let you guys know that, hey, this conversation needs to be shared. So share it with everyone you know so that we can get the ratings up. That helps us to be able to continue creating better content. So, without further ado, we got three topics. Hold on, before we introduce Gia. Now, three topics. Number one, love means allowing that person to cheat. Two, Delilah was never wrong. Samson was, for those of you who know the Bible and the scriptures. And three, uh, what is that?
Why?
Why you should continue to sin. So those are some controversial topics, but let's introduce Gia. Gia, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Lex. Glad to be here.
Thank you, thank you. Now, Gia, I know for a fact that I recently put out a opportunity for the podcast showcase, right?
Right.
And so, what inspired you, like, to literally say, you know what, I'm gonna be on the podcast and so forth?
Well, I do watch you here and there, so I
Thank you,
know, you have some interesting stuff to say. And
thank
then
you.
I myself planning on putting out my own podcast
So
soon. So I said this will give me good, experience.
powerful, man. Listen, because honestly, ladies and gentlemen, when I spoke to Gia right after she filled in the information, when I had a conversation with her, and I understood, well, she had a lot of energy, a lot of impact, a lot of great things that I found very interesting, a lot of great viewpoints. So let's get ready to rumble now, Gia. Before we begin, right? Let people know what you do and let them know where they can find you.
Well, hey guys. But you can find me on Facebook, Heaven Sense, and then I think Instagram, I'm Genuine242. And so yeah, you could get me on those two platforms.
Powerful. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, she's going to be building a podcast soon. So, look forward to that. So, now let's get right into the topics. Now, before we get directly into those three top topics, Gia, what do you think about dating relationships in 2025? You think we making sense as a people, or are things getting worse?
Boy, well, I don't think we're making sense because I think that we just be a bit too rushy, and I don't feel like we take the time to even get to know ourselves before we go and decide to be inside a whole relationship with someone else. So, yeah.
Wow, man, I love what you said because it's like we are creating chaos all around because we don't love ourselves 100%.
Right.
And then we don't know ourselves enough to be able to
Mm-hmm.
know who is compatible with us. Because
Right.
at the end of the day, the reason why we date and get in relationships is because we're supposed to want to build something, I
Right.
mean, long term, also to be able to live a better life.
Right.
Because I believe that men and women should be complementary so that if we align,
Mm-hmm.
our life walk should be easier instead of it
It
being
should.
all on one person.
It should.
Now, Gia, when I look around, I see there's been a what they call an independent movement amongst a lot of women. We got these boss chicks out here saying that they don't need a man and they feel like, oh, I got my money, I got to go for the bag, like I don't need a man. You think? I mean, I have controversial views on that, right? But what do you think about that from your perspective?
Okay, from my perspective, I feel like for boss chicks, I don't feel like they're saying they don't want a man. I just think they're saying they don't need you. Meaning that if push comes to shove, you're cheating, you're abusing me, I could leave because I don't need you. Now, if you come into my life, I want you in my life. So because I have all these other stuff, you're not gonna use this against me to say that, oh well, hey, I have money, I'm paying your bills, so now you have to put up with my foolishness. No. So I think that's their way of protecting themselves and finding men who genuinely cares about them.
Okay. I understand it 100% because self-preservation is the first thing that any species or living entity will love to make sure they have under control.
Right,
Now, but the
right.
thing is, I find it very interesting that some men, I mean, we feel a little like disdain in the sense that some guys, because they see what's going on in a woman's life, they may feel intimidated or they may feel like, bruh, like they feel less, like they ain't getting
Right.
the
Which
respect because
right.
of, oh, I can do this and I can do that. So it's like the respect flew out the window, like the value of the man in her life goes down.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what do you think? Like, how could men see this in a better light? Because many times most guys will see it as like, boy, this woman, like she's so haughty and she she being the word arrogant about it. You know what I mean? There's a way to go
Yeah.
about it, like arrogant about it.
I do agree with you. Some women do, go over their heads, but I feel like for men who are trying to pursue those kind of women, I feel like if she's worried, you just have to be patient because you just have to break down that barrier. You understand? Like I said, she's only protecting herself, so she's trying to make sure that you're not here to play any games. You're not here to. So that's why she's doing that.
Wow, that's powerful. That's a very interesting perspective. Now, another thing we've been noticing a lot of is that in the social media market,
Mhm.
it has opened up the ways people can communicate and those people could express interest. Like,
Mhm.
for instance, one point in time, let's say young lady growing up in the 1990s,
Mhm.
we didn't have no cell phones.
No, we
So
didn't.
the
We
only way we used
didn't.
to talk is the house phone,
Mhm.
talk
Mhm.
for hours, man. I can't believe we used to just sit down and
Yeah.
talk. But then the thing is that most times when we would date someone, we would either date them because we were inside school,
Mhm.
maybe in a church,
Mhm.
maybe in a like after activities group. But now social media is opening up where it's like 10 guys trying to talk to one girl at any
Right.
given time. You think that is spoiling women's variety and being able to choose a man or giving her a false sense of options, or you think that is just it is something that's solid or something that she can rely on?
There's definitely more bad than good in that scenario
Okay.
because with the platform, with that social media platform, you don't really know these people behind that screen. So at least with going to church and school, you kind of catch a glimpse of who that person really is. So you get to see if this person is rude, if this person is mean to others, if they're kind-hearted. So you kind of get a sense of who they are. But behind social media, you could be anybody. You
Oh,
could pretend to be anything, and especially if you're a person who likes to post, I could see what you like, and I could pretend to be exactly what you want me to be. You know?
wow. Okay,
So,
okay. So the reason why I say that because I've been seeing a lot of complaints by men. They say, man, they feel like their value again. I go back to this value thing
hmm
that their value is misunderstood or what we call lowered in a woman's eyes because she feel like she could replace him at any point in time with these so-called
yeah,
options. So
yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
guys feel some type of way about that. But what I find is that let's say if a woman does tend to act on that, and sometimes it may be that, and I mean, you could add your input in that. Sometimes it may be
hmm
that some because a lot of guys ain't up to standard. And I'm just saying, like most guys, they ain't really on their game, working on themselves,
hmm
improving themselves,
hmm
etc. So there's always going to be options coming up. But how it is, do you believe that men, like if a guy saw that, you think he should be worrying about how much guys trying to talk to a girl in her DMs, or he should just what should he do?
I no, I don't think so because you should be confident in yourself. Now, if you're worrying about other guys and you have competition, then I feel like you got more work to do because if you're confident in yourself, like for me, I'm worried about no other chick, because I know what I bring to the table. I know what I got.
That's powerful. So,
hmm
so guys, the secret is to focus on your life, become the best you can be, so that even if push comes to shove, you get in a relationship or and they call it crap hits the fan, right? The thing is that you always want to make it so that when she leave or if she does leave, she regrets it, right? And vice versa, you know. All right, good. So before we get into those three top topics, because I'm gonna love to dive into this, man, because we talking about cheating, right? But the thing is that what would you say is give me the top three reasons why women would cheat. And be real,
Mm.
man. You had to sugarcoat this,
I can be
man.
real now. That's one thing I can do. Why women would cheat? Okay, I think the first one would be that they don't have any emotional stability or emotional security. Like, yes, I love you, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure about you. I feel wishy-washy with you. I'm not secure in my feelings with you. I don't know. Like, you there, but I don't know if you're here for me. You understand? You may be here for other reasons or whatever the case may be. So I think that's one of the reasons I see why women cheat. And then another reason I think women cheat is because for some, it's just a game. I here to
Okay.
get what I gotta get. You just one of the suckers who happen to come by. So I'ma do me and while you do you. And then a lot of women do have this mentality that anyway, men can cheat anyway, so I can just cheat and do my thing because you can do it anyway. So they have this
Okay.
mentality so
Wow.
you know.
I love it. I love it. Listen, you're getting the exact sauce directly from they say the horse's mouth, right?
Horse mouth.
Okay. So that I like that because for me, right, when I think about
Mm-hmm.
human nature is not fair. Meaning that when opportunity arises and the opportunity seems to be good, and available, most
Mm-hmm.
people will take opportunity. But now the thing is that many human beings have the balance that what do they really want for their life and do they have the discipline?
Mm-hmm.
Because in life, discipline is all that where success happens. Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes let's say two individuals come together, a man and a woman, and they want to create a relationship and they know where they're going. They say they want to create a certain type of lifestyle, do travel or create business.
Mm-hmm.
They would know that hey, these are the perimeters upon which we should operate.
Right.
Now, what I believe is that many times when men and women get in relationships, the perimeters or the vision is not clear.
I
Therefore, it
agree.
was
I
so
agree.
fickle until there are no walls in order to be able to understand, okay, what's the dynamics of how we should operate this relationship.
Right.
And I believe that's one of the reasons why, because think about it. Besides the marriage, like I said, if two people get married, they would have
Mm-hmm.
like a marriage contract and they just say
Mm-hmm.
for better or worse, the rich or poor. But the thing is that let's say when a girlfriend and boyfriend come together, the guy may say, hey, I want to be my girlfriend. And the girlfriend may say, okay.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he never lays down and say, okay, this is what I would like. You think you could do this? You think this is okay? You could do this, that, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
find and genuinely express like, oh, okay, so what would you do in this situation? Like, no one goes and
Yeah.
talks
No
about
one
these
does that
things.
for true.
I mean,
Yeah.
so I believe that if we could brief ourselves upon the engagement of the interaction, then I believe that we could find ways to be able to improve on it. Sort of when things do happen, say, hey, this is how we handle situations because there's
Yeah.
no nothing there. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I agree. And I think it goes back to me, what I said earlier in terms of finding yourself first, understanding who you are first, so you could know what it is you're actually looking for. Because then, honestly, I feel like when two people come together and they say they want to be in a relationship, I feel like it is so superficial. Most of the times, it's very superficial. I'm attracted to you, you're attracted to me. Let's get in this relationship. Let's have sex. Let's just go with the
Let's see
flow.
where it goes.
But I haven't found my purpose. You haven't found my purpose, and then we're 6 years in, 7 years in, 10 years in, we both find our purpose, and I'm kind of find out you and I don't even align, And so now we're having friction in the relationship because I trying to go this way, you don't want to come with me because you have your own thing to do. You understand? So that is be a major problem, not knowing who you are. You understand?
Boy, listen, and the reason why I say I think that hurts a lot because imagine when two people come together, they invest so much time, energy,
Time, yeah, and
experiences,
that's why a lot
money.
of people don't leave too because they said I already invested, but
Like they can't pull away. It's
can't.
like,
Right,
bro,
right, right.
you three years deep and like so much
Yes,
experience. Like what? But even though when it gets toxic,
yeah.
all right, good. And lastly, before we jump into three topics, and we're gonna have a
Mhm.
bonus one afterwards. But what do you think is the reason why many relationships are so toxic, man? Because I hear some patterns. I see some patterns
Mhm.
in both men and women who complain about being in a toxic relationship. Like, what do you
Mhm.
think causes a toxic relationship, and why does it occur?
Well, I can keep repeating this if I get tired of hearing me, but I feel like from you can work on yourself, wherever you go, it's gonna be toxic. So I feel like it first starts with that with yourself. It doesn't start with the other person. You understand? Because once you deal with you and you people come in a relationship with their own baggage. You come with your own toxic traits and stuff like that, and then you're expecting this person to be a certain way. No, 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 no. You deal with you, and then let that person deal with them. And then I think another thing too is when we do see toxic things at the beginning, we would let it slide.
Oh my
So we
my!
don't address it because we in that what you call like the
They call
honeymoon phase
honeymoon
or the
phase.
puppy
It's like
dog phase. So
nothing
we
can.
let everything say, oh, I like him, so let me just let that said I like her. So I ain't really watch nothing. But guess what? Those same things will get worse as time go on.
like
You know?
like I told an ex girlfriend of mine, and I saw this quote is rooted in her head. I said everything starts small and get big,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
that's what means that if you don't address certain things at the
Yeah. At the
beginning,
beginning, right? At the beginning.
that will determine detrimental or the detrimental in the future
Yeah. It's
if
a
it's not
seed.
checked. It's
Yeah.
a
It's a
seed.
seed. Yeah.
Ah,
It's a
powerful,
seed.
powerful. All right. So I mean, honestly, one of the things I notice that many men complain about is how women talk to them. Like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times when a woman angry, her mouth has no filter.
Filter. Yeah.
Why is that the case? Like, why does it go on autopilot and it doesn't like turn off? Like, because some guys need to restrain themselves not to go crazy or
Mm-hmm.
get physical, but why is it that the case and how can men better handle that? Let's say that.
Okay, well, I'm gonna answer the first one. You said why does that happen or how does
Yeah,
that
why,
happen?
yes. I say, why is it that many women like they talk to men in disrespectful ways, especially a man who's a claim to love.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's my baby, and you posting them and all that, and that. Why does it happen, and how can a man deal with mitigating that, stopping that, or decreasing that? What has to happen?
Well, first of all, you saying love. People have a misconception of what love is. They may have emotions towards that person. They may have an attachment to that person, but that don't necessarily mean you love that person.
Wow.
So that's one thing. And then I think we grow up seeing a lot of things. We grow up, so
Oh,
it's kind of cultural.
we acting it out.
Right? So we kind of get trained to be that way and to, I don't want no man rule over me. So so it's trained. So we have to
Oh,
be able to understand that that's not a healthy trait and to be able to retrain ourselves to say, hey, if I want to be respected in a certain way, I need to start portraying this. And then you said,
how
how
can
can
men deal
men
with it? Because
deal with
for a
it?
lot of these guys, they pulling their hair out. They going to go
Yeah,
say, so me go, they going to go smoke. They're going to go drink, and all. They're going to go
yeah,
be physically
yeah.
combative. Like,
I don't think that's necessary for men to pull out their hair. But the first thing I would say is don't
I
throw
feel fire. I feel the fire. I know you're
I going
gonna
to
say.
say, like, don't do that because at the end of the day, you're a man. She's a woman. Let her throw a tantrum or whatever, but you stand your ground as a man. And you have to let her know. And I just being real. You got to let her know straight up, listen, I'm not tolerating it. I'm not even running on with you until you decide to say, hey, talk to me better. We could have this conversation later. No, for true, you have to put your foot down because women will. Well, not just women, but anybody in general, as long as you allow them to take advantage of you, they will. So, especially relationships. If you don't put your foot down, she will always do it. And guess what? It started small. It started small. It is
Oh,
get to that point where she see, okay, he is saying nothing, but I can do it again when I'm mad and you're stupid self and
damn.
and so you want to do nothing, you just, baby, no. You allowed me to do it, so why you want me to stop now?
Yes, yes, okay. Wow.
Put your foot down, man, please.
So I know for a fact that many guys find it difficult to have that standard because their goal is to try to win over someone, and usually when they try to win over a girl, right? They
Mm-hmm.
try to not offend in as best as possible. But sometimes, most times, it backfire because they have not
Yeah.
established that listen, there's a bitter sweet to everything, and also too, there is a way I expect to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is not the standard, then I am not participating. Now, what I say to a lot of guys, if you're experiencing a lot of that within your relationship, I would say, hey, like she said, check it. Say, hey, I'm not going to continue this conversation unless you can speak to me respectfully. And if you continue to do this again, I will not. It's over. I know that's kind of harsh, right? But you have to get really
Yeah.
serious about it because your life, your energy, your time, you
Mm-hmm.
need that as a man to be able to grow because if your energy ain't focused,
Yeah.
you don't gonna become anything.
You gotta
And
start on
and also
business.
too, I can guarantee you this. If that was Chris Brown or Drake, she would never raise her voice to him. Now I don't know what happened between Chris Brown and Rihanna, he even experienced it, but I'm saying
Yeah.
guys of high value, a lot of women behave and behave
Yeah.
very well. So that's why I always tell men, and it's as my brand Superman Alpha Mask and advice, I say, get fit, make money, then find love. Why?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Because if you
Mm-hmm.
fit, you look more attractive.
Mm-hmm.
At the first time
And
when the
you
woman
better
meet you,
options. Yeah.
you're better
Better
options.
options.
And also
Mm-hmm.
too, women tend to respect you more when they see you how well they say, wow, this guy don't need me. I
Right.
I gotta I gotta see how I can
Right.
adapt to
Right.
that. Wow. Tia.
Something you said too before
What?
you move on. You said something about men not wanting to offend
Right.
the lady in the beginning, but I feel like honestly, I feel like you should get them offended. I
Wow.
feel like in the beginning you shouldn't hold back. You feel like I wanna get you offended. I
Please.
wanna see
Oh.
like if I do because this is just me. So if what I'm doing is offending you, I need to know what it is straight up. I want
Ah.
to get you offended. I'm not trying to spare your feelings because first of all, I want to see how you handle this. You understand?
Oh.
I want to see how you go about doing this. Like I'm trying to see who you are at the beginning. I don't want to wait till it's too late.
Right.
I deepen the relationship and now I getting to see the ugly traits. No. You do that at the beginning. So that the latter
Wow.
part of the relationship could be better.
I love
You know?
that. You know why I love that? Because when you say that, right, everybody has what they call a masquerade, like a mask that most
Yeah,
people put on.
yeah.
Not everybody who are true to themselves who've done the inner work. Like for me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm me everywhere. The same way you
Right,
see
right,
me on
right.
here, that's me everywhere.
That's
When I
you.
give the clients, when I give to anybody. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing is that many people they wear the mask, so you got to see what's beneath the mask because
Mm-hmm.
you'll be surprised who they are after that honeymoon phase
Mm-hmm.
was over. So I got some shifting gears, right? The three
Yeah,
topics coming right in
yeah,
a
they
minute,
come in, they come in.
right? Because we had the literally at the 19-minute mark. We've been talking for 19 minutes. It didn't feel like
Wow,
it
no,
like been
don't feel
5 minutes,
like it.
right?
Yeah.
Powerful dynamic, right? But the thing is, have you seen any of these? There's a particular show that I like to watch every now and again. It's
Mm-hmm.
called Pop the Balloon and Find
Yeah,
Love.
I
Have you
saw
seen
it.
any clips or
Yeah.
so? Anything? What do you think about that?
Um, I mean, I feel like it's entertaining, but I feel like it's very shallow. because one of the reasons I feel that way is because you're asking certain questions, but you like I said, at the end of the day, you really don't know that person. You're asking superficial questions. Like I need to know real questions. You understand? I need to see you in your authentic state. I don't want to see you when you're pretending because everybody come in there dress up. You understand? You're gonna say the best answer. I don't want that. You understand? I want to see you at your work before I see you at your best. I'd rather see you
Okay.
at your best later. Let me see you at your worst so I can know if this is what I want to continue with. You
Wow.
understand? And then another thing I need to know if you're working on yourself because a lot of women, they're not, I wouldn't say women, a lot of people
People,
are not working on
because they come for
themselves.
you,
Yeah,
Gia.
they
They'll
come for
come
me.
for you.
Don't come for me. I missed. But yeah, they don't work on themselves. So I may appear to be what you need right now, but because I'm not working on myself, I'm not growing. You understand? You're growing, I'm not growing. I don't care to change any bad habits I have. So like I said, it's entertaining, but the questions don't really hit the nail for me, you know?
Okay, I like that. Now, what I think about it, right? Because I like it because three things. Number one, it is getting the opposite sex to engage in a way that has not been done before. It's
Yeah,
new.
yeah, that is new.
Now, the
Yeah.
interesting thing is that it's very fragile because a person, just by saying they say the wrong thing,
Yes.
poof,
And that could
out the
be a
window. And that
could
time,
be an
when I would
innocent
watch,
person.
I honestly I have a good keen eye of energy of people, and
Hmm.
because different personalities could blend with
Right.
different people. I see some people when they go on, I say, but these two people be nice much, but then they pop the bloom because they said something to someone else and so
Hmm.
forth. So I love it. It's a great introductory on how relationships can be established, but like you said, it needs to
Hmm.
be a bit deeper. It's too
Yeah.
shallow, but it's entertaining. I love it.
But I did like one episode where I saw one guy. He came in there dressed a certain way, and man, the balloon started popping because they started judging him, not knowing he fixed himself that way. That time he's very well educated, has a lot of money, good job, but they didn't see it at first, so they was judging him. So I was like, that's interesting. Like y'all are very shallow. Y'all come here for looks, y'all come here for status, but y'all ain't come here for who the
The
person really
material,
is,
the essence. But
the
guess what?
essence, right?
But man, guess what? Learn from that. You know why? Because guess what? Presentation is a serious thing, and presentation is
Yeah.
very important because a woman, think about it. If she meet you for the first time, you have about 7 to 10 seconds to present. She already knows within.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and
Hmm.
confirm it. She already knows within the first 7, 10, maybe 15 seconds if this is a guy who she would sleep with, date, or avoid.
Hmm.
Within the first seven
Hmm.
to ten seconds, when she go over it, trust me. So therefore, you have to make sure that you are appealing.
Right,
That's why you
right.
gotta groom yourself, take care, get your hair shape up, wear best form fitting clothes, work out in the gym. Why? Because all those things are what you present, and a woman's gonna be like, wow, okay, that's a winner. And
Hmm.
a lot of women want to be winners. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? I know you ever heard of a woman want to be a loser? I mean, I just saying. I mean, a lot of guys be saying, like, well, that's a guy who should be crying over, like, letting her blow her back. Like, what is going on here? But like I say, the goal is not to look at that. The goal is to continue developing yourself so you have the best of picks. And your
Hmm.
life be great because you have to be the example for your children to come.
Right.
Gia, that's dynamic. The first 22 minutes. Now let's tackle. I say let's talk. Let's tackle these topics. So, Gia, I asked Gia. I said, Gia, give me three topics we could speak about. And Gia called off and say, love means allowing that person to cheat. So Gia, can you please expound and let us know uh what do you mean by that? And then I'll add in my 10 cents.
Not even five. Yeah, so what I mean by love means allowing a person to cheat, y'all don't count for me, please. But I'm not saying that love means tolerating that person's cheating, but allowing them. That's a different, and it goes back to the essence of a person. You understand? You want that person to be their most authentic self. So if they're showing you who they are, you don't try to paint a different picture. Allow them to be whoever they want to be. You understand? Because love, true love now, not emotions, not attachment, not, toxic, whatever. People have themselves in real, genuine love requires freedom. Love is liberty.
Oh, love is liberty.
Love is not possession. You cannot possess a person. You cannot possess anything. We're just here to experience people for who they are. But like the trick about it is though, when you do see something that like if the person is cheating, you don't like it or whatever, the trick is that you find people that align to what you actually want. So if I say, this person like to beat women, I'm not gonna stay there. I'm not gonna allow you to be who you are and show me who you are, but I'm gonna move myself because that's not what I want. You understand? I love you for you because that's just you. You understand? But I'm not gonna try to say, "Oh, don't do this," because now what that is going to cause is that person to start to be sneaky because they're not going to change. They're still going to be them, but now they're just going to be a certain version of them around you. They're
Mhm.
going to have to put on a mask around you because that's what you want. You actually want them to wear a mask. You don't want them to be their authentic self. So you have to allow that person to do whatever it is that they want to do and find people who chooses you, you know?
Wow, that's powerful, man. When I first heard that, I was like, "Wait, are you crazy, bro?" But then, when she explained it to me, I realized there's a deeper essence to it because,
Hmm.
see, for you to be your best self, you have to be free.
Right.
And when you
Right.
are under the constraints mentally, and even though it's very important to have rules, regulations, and boundaries, you have to understand that people are who they are. And if we see a person like to do a particular thing, and that's just them, it doesn't make any sense you trying to, and that does not align with you. It doesn't make sense you trying to change that because
Mm.
changing the essence of a person, that's the hard thing. Try changing yourself and see how hard that is. Imagine changing someone
Yeah,
else.
I just gonna say that for true. When you change yourself, the things around you change.
Boom. So greater is he is that is within me that he is in the
You're
world. That
right.
means that whatever is within you, if you want your world to change your thoughts, change the way
Change you
you
first.
do things, change your
Hmm.
environment. And again, I like what you said because something clicked to me. It's almost on like on a spiritual level, like everybody is an environment.
I
You,
agree. Yeah,
anybody
that's
that comes
powerful.
around you, they have a feel of
Yes.
influence. So
Wow.
just by being enough, look at I get look at that. See that goosebumps, right? They
Yeah,
call it goosebumps.
yeah,
They call
that's
it
powerful.
electromagnetic power. But what happens is that everybody carrying with them their essence,
Hmm.
their past, their likes and their ways of
Their
life.
traits, yeah.
And so therefore you are with someone and you understand that hey, they do not align with your values, it
Hmm.
means that you shouldn't be with them because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, there's gonna be conflict. Because
Yep.
in my program, Meetme360, when we match people, we have three levels. We have personality, or we
Hmm.
call it elemental energy, communication style aligned,
Hmm.
as well as lifestyle. Because the lifestyle can determine if two people can live together.
Live
Because
together.
if we have two
Okay.
different lifestyles, if I like to go to the gym, like stay home and watch Netflix, you think we can last long?
Probably.
You think so? No, I don't think so.
Hi.
You know why? Because guess what? You could be home, laying on against, letting yourself go. And I could be there working out. But I could be interested in someone who interested,
Yeah, it
right?
will be. It would be.
Because
Yeah.
guess what? You know
Yeah.
what they say? They say there's something called why there's a reason why they call it relationship.
Hmm.
Relation means to have something in common, and ship is a
Relate.
vehicle,
Relate. That's the
right?
key word.
I
Relate. We
relate.
have to
You
relate
have
to
to be
each other.
relate.
Yeah.
When you can relate, then the ship is the vehicle used to get to the destination.
Mm,
So therefore,
okay.
we relate. That means two people cannot walk together unless they agree.
Agree.
So our
Yeah.
lifestyles and what we want
Hmm.
should be similar. Because guess what? What
Hang
happened?
on. Would that be mistaken for personality?
No, that's
'Cause-
lifestyle. Because personality is
okay.
like that essence of a person, like it's almost like that energy and character they
Okay.
carry.
Okay.
You
Okay.
see what I'm saying? But
Okay.
the lifestyle is
The
like the way
lifestyle,
of
right?
the way they do things, their interests. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
Okay. I
So when
understand.
I say that, that means that if we let's say if you're in a relationship, right, and you have a child with someone and y'all don't have no similar lifestyle, what is the child lifestyle gonna be? It's gonna be
Wow.
confused. They say
Confusing.
mommy's do
Yeah.
that, guys do
Conflicting.
different things.
Right.
So the child coming in ready, but I realize that a family should be on one accord.
Yeah.
Because you know in the Bible it says is God and
Mm-hmm.
Christ,
Mm-hmm.
and husband
Mm-hmm.
and wife and children. You know what I'm saying? So it have to
Yeah.
be an order because
Right.
without order, chaos happens,
Chaos.
you know?
Right. Right.
All right, so I love that. So allowing the person to be who they are and liberty, love is liberty. So you can't control someone or try to fight them and like they're not a child. Like you can't say, hey, you
Right.
can't because if they don't agree with your way of your values, then it makes no sense fighting that. A lot of people fighting that. Some of y'all been deep fighting that, and boy, y'all just losing. Y'all getting no blows.
Yes, real.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah, but I like what you said too with freedom within yourself, your own mentality. So I like that too. And I feel like probably people like to cage others because they themselves are caged.
That's
You
true.
understand? Set yourself free.
Mhm.
You understand? So, mhm.
Wow, it's powerful. Okay. Okay. Now the second one is very interesting because we're talking in the Bible, right? There's a story of all right, before we get into that, right? There's said to be three men, right? And back in school we used to make this acronym is ASS. Adam, Samson, Solomon, right? Now they say ASS because so for some reason these three guys, like something always happened with them and women, man.
Mhm.
Now, what's the story of Delilah? Can you give them like a short synopsis on the story of Delilah and Samson? Can you tell them?
Okay, well, the version that everyone knows is that Samson was in love with this, beautiful lady named Delilah, and she just betrayed him. She seduced him, and she ended up betraying him and cutting his hair and handing him over to his enemies. That's what people believe.
Okay, wow. And guess what, gents? Samson was said to be a Nazarite under the Nazarite creed, and he was like from a priest tribe,
Yeah,
and
he was
had
finished.
the power of God. He was so strong, he could grab a donkey bone and beat niggas like crazy. With that, he could slew 1,000 men. So he's like Superman. But
Mhm.
his lust and desire for many types of women, and what they would call strange women, because it was women who was not of his kind or his land, drove him to his demise. Now, in today's society, we see there's some mixing in with different relationships, and we see sometimes many men are brought down by certain type of women, not the virtuous women, but the certain strange women that they say in the Proverbs. But like she said, that's the story. Now, with this topic, it said Delilah was never wrong. Samson was. Why was Samson wrong and why was Delilah not?
Um, okay, so I want to start off by saying that Samson was an Israelite,
Okay.
right? Delilah was a Philistine. So right then and there, you see that they do not agree. You understand?
Culture
They said
differences,
big
everything. Yes, even
differences,
their values. Wow.
and they were enemies of each other. You
Wow.
understand? Like that's the first thing. We don't mix regardless because and Samson was a judge too. You know, he was a judge in his nation, so
Wow.
he's serving God. You're not aligning with the purposes of my people or me. Oh, well, it's supposed to be him. Understand? So it never would have worked out either way. And then, second of all, people like to think that Samson was in love with Delilah. He was not. Okay,
So what I
Delilah.
mean, he was not. How you know that? He was there.
I wasn't there, but I do like to read. Okay, read Bahamas read. That's one thing we don't like to do is read. We take things for what we hear, but when I went and I read that story myself, I was like, "What is a totally different thing?" Because they were not in a relationship. They were not married. She was a prostitute. Okay,
Okay.
yeah, she was a prostitute. He was just getting a paid service from her. Okay,
Wow.
that's it. Like that's it, right? And she has no loyalty to Samson. You come here, you pay your money, you get what you get, and you go back home,
Uh-huh.
right? Um, and another reason why I don't think Delilah was wrong is because I read in the scripture where they would when they was trying to capture him, the Bible says that he was at Delilah's house or some prostitute house. I think it was Delilah, and they closed the city gate to try close him in. So that tells me that you live in a whole different city because by the time as he was
Oh.
finished, the gate was closed, so he had to go to his hometown now, and the Bible says he I think he break the city gate or he throw it or whatever, but you in a whole different city. You belong over there. How
Oh.
you get in these people's city if you're over there? You
Hold on.
understand what I said?
So
He did not live with them.
you trying to tell me Samson was a passport bro? He was like traveling banging chicks in other areas. That's
Right. And then
interesting.
my thing is I don't and then so his parents were pleading with him and they was telling him, well, why don't you like her? Israelite girl, someone more of your kind, even though like they still a prostitute, but at least in the boundaries of what's more for your purpose. You
Right.
understand? It's at least not too outside. Because I mean you're still doing wrong, but
Right.
at least it ain't all the way to the
That's
left.
true.
You know?
I agree with you, and this is why I agree with you. Because think about it, right? Anytime you have two different nations,
Mm-hmm.
all nations do what they call espionage, meaning they are studying each other in order to be able to know
Mm-hmm.
the ins and outs. In case there's war, they could be able to know how to deal with the enemy.
Right,
Now, with
right.
Samson building up such a reputation of being this mighty man and this judge, of course, they would have people who are sent in as agents, even
Mm-hmm.
like prostitutes who would be like spies to come in
Right,
to be
right.
able to see how they could get information from him so they could be able to subdue him. And
Mm-hmm.
I guess they were successful
Mm-hmm.
simply because in this world, you see that there's a lot of strategy involved in being able to like tackle someone or take down an empire or person. So, men,
Yeah, yeah.
keep in mind, be aware of people because sometimes the enemy sends someone who looks appealing. So, therefore, you have to be aware of who you are letting into your life because sometimes their goal is not to inspire or uplift you, but to destroy you. So that's something I like to take away from that.
Oh,
Wow.
that's a word is different. Who life he is going in? Because, like I say, you didn't belong in the city. You belong over there. You didn't have to go. You know,
I know.
in
Okay.
the Philistine camp. You
Right,
understand?
but the thing is, if Sam's is so powerful, you think he's scared, right? Right here and go, boy, what you can say to me, boy, I'll beat what? You
No,
already hear
that's
what I do
true.
last over there,
That's
boy.
true.
I
That's
slew a
true.
thousand men, you're 10 guys trying to, you're gonna go
No,
flying,
that's
boy.
true.
Well, I'll take your woman, boy. You all think it's a game, eh,
Yeah,
boy.
yeah. His head was swell bad.
That's powerful. So learn from that. So the thing is that, man, this goes again to say, hey, you need discipline. As a
Discipline,
man, without
yeah, I
discipline, bro,
agree.
trust me, bro, your life could go down.
Yeah.
So discipline, and especially with the women that you engage with, understand that a woman should compliment you. She should be someone who is allowing you to like grow, and someone that's gonna nurture you or help you. So Samson didn't follow that, and I guess Adam, I don't know what Adam did wrong, man, because Eve still gonna eat the apple, and I think she had everything, right? Like there's a video floating around saying that the guy's trying to prove that women just like even the best isn't enough because the guy played the video clip. These guys sitting in the area like a podcast. He's like, hey, the guy is so um Adam's like, hey, we have all these things going on. Everything we want, it can be manifested instantly. And we have all these things going for ourselves. And then Eve was like, just isn't enough, huh? And then the woman's like, they asked us, so what, the guy started laughing. Say, what do you think? And the woman's like, I was waiting for more. And they said, that's exactly my point. And the clip ended. Wow. It's powerful, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. So our last and final one is why you should continue to sin. Now, this is very controversial, man, because we know in a society we claim to be a Christian nation.
mhm.
You know, sometimes like whatever that means, because I look around
Yeah,
and
I
like,
say that
wait,
too.
what's going on here? A lot of principles out the window, but you know, we realize that in the scriptures we know there's something called sin. So I mean, Jill, can you describe like what is sin, and then why should you should continue to sin? Like what's that talk about? Give us some insight.
Okay, well, biblically, the Bible says sin is the transgression of the law, which is the law of God. And then the Bible also says that we're born in sin
Okay.
and shaped in iniquity. So it's something that's just our nature. You understand? Because if we're born of this world, we're automatically born of sin, you know? And so why I said you should continue to sin is because that there is nothing that you can do to rid yourself of sin. You understand? That is only something that the blood of Christ could do. Only God could stop you from sinning. So, because we're such a Christian nation, right? A lot of us are very religious minded and judgmental. So, we feel like when people, I guess, make their sin known as to what they're doing, like, oh, you go into the club or you're having sex outside of marriage, we Christian nation. So now they feel like the act of sin, like what you're doing, the act itself they believe is sin, but sin is of its nature because you could stop drinking, you could stop smoking, you could stop, you could get married, you're still sinful. You understand? You're still sinful. Like whether people like to believe it or not, you're still sinful. So the reason why I said this because I don't want people to have the notion that I can just stop sinning, because if you can, then what's the purpose of a savior? What's the purpose of Christ if I can just stop having sex? I can just stop drinking. There's no need for Christ, to be honest.
Right.
So when I say um you should continue to sin, what I'm saying is, first of all, have the understanding that you can't do anything. You understand? But what you can do is you can incorporate now more Christ into your life, more spiritual things into your life, and the more you get to know you, the stronger your relationship grows with God. Sin, it depletes
Okay.
over time. You understand? So
Powerful.
that's a process that happens.
All right. Powerful. So when I first heard it, I was like, what in the world? But I like to add a bit more, as perspective to it too. And
Mm-hmm,
I look at it like this. Okay, think about when you're born, right? You know nothing. You came here empty, a blank slate,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
pure. Now you may have grew up in a family where, you watch things around you and that becomes your basic programming. The way you see the world, the values, the culture, the
mm-hmm. Right,
language.
right, right.
Now, as time go on, there are certain behaviors within you that you do not know that you're demonstrating that is not fit with that particular culture, society. Your parents will uh, chastise you or spank
Mm-hmm.
you, etc., to get you right. So the whole point is that remember this: do not be so hard on yourself. That's number one.
Yeah.
Why? Because at the end of the day, you are human. And the goal is to work towards perfection, but you must understand that the nature of man is destructive by
Yeah.
nature. But
By
there's
nature.
a way to be able to elevate and be able to progress by following laws. Now, the thing is that when it comes to sin, I remember reading some places that say that sin means missing the mark. Now, you say the transgression of the law,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that you made a mistake
Mm-hmm.
or you failed, but then there's a reason to continue trying again. Like, for instance, let's say you sin against your body. If you eat bad foods, right? And it makes you feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
Then you say, you know what, I feel bad. That's a sin because why? You did something that went against the body. But then you must learn from it.
Yeah,
So
right.
watch what happened, be self-aware, and then learn from it. It's okay. I notice when I do that, this happens.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see how I can improve it. And as time go on, you're gonna continue to walk into perfection. So, and also too, just like how I say, anything when it comes to a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one
One
step.
step.
Nothing is not gonna be washed away one go. You know what I mean? So the thing is, as a step, it's a continued journey.
Mm-hmm.
Continue just to try striving for the perfection of character.
Mm-hmm.
Continue adding great things in your life. And as time goes on, you're going to start become like the Most High. You're going to start becoming more like Christ. But you have to be able to study the law and study the spiritual principles so that your spirit grow. The
Right.
more your spirit grow, the more you become more, like I say, holy. That's why the Holy
Yeah.
Spirit can manifest. And also too, and the more world you become, the less of.
Yeah.
But guess what? In order to know spiritual things, you must understand worldly things first. And
Yeah.
then that's how people learn. Say, I remember back when I was young, I used to do X, Y, Z, and I stopped doing it. I know some guys say, I used to smoke dope, this, that, gang bang, but nah, section, but like, that was
Yeah.
making no sense. All my
Yeah.
friends were dropping down like flies
Mm-hmm.
because they knew that world. And that's why they was able to become more impactful out of it. So,
Right.
don't
Right.
condemn someone. He without sin cast the what?
First stone.
And that's what Christ said. Because he said,
Mm-hmm.
listen, all y'all in some way, shape, or form are transgressing the law. No one's perfect. But in fact, you should focus on yourself and how you could be able to create a greater relationship with the divine power.
Right.
What you think about that? You think he said something right?
Yeah, and as you were speaking, what came to me,
What?
when the scripture says, righteous man falls 7 times, right? And I like that because I'm righteous, I still fall in. But the difference is I try every
You
time.
get back up.
I try, I keep trying because, like I said, it's nothing you could do. It's in our nature to sin. But when you try it, you will become, like you say, 7 times. I like to every time I hear that, I feel like 7 is the number of completion. So I feel like God saying, like you say, perfect. We're trying to get to that perfection. So every time I feel like I sin, or and I like how you said too, to not be hard on yourself. I think that's so important because where this is a Christian nation and people are so judgy, a lot of people tend to stray away from it because they're like, you know what, I done messed up, so let me
That's
go
a
this
piece of
way.
God.
Let
Let
me
me
just
continue.
continue
Even
to,
deeper.
but not knowing that no, the key is to keep trying.
Right.
And one day I'm gonna get it. Same thing with any discipline. Actually,
Business,
it's a discipline.
fitness,
Fitness,
finances,
right?
family, relationships,
Anything you
dating.
have to keep trying.
Right. And I like to add something just click right there, if I could remember it, it just popped in and then popped up. But I believe that one of the secrets is you must simply um continue to progress. But the thing is that do not allow yourself to be tempted. Well, you will be tempted. Just like I remember Christ is looking on the mountain, like Satan, they say, I give you all these things. You will be tempted. But
Mm-hmm.
that's where discipline comes in. Like I said,
Discipline,
again,
yeah.
the laws that are there, God created the Ten Commandments for a reason. Why? Because by following the commandments, you are literally you are practicing self-love to the highest level. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I say
Mm-hmm.
self-love to the highest level, because guess what? When you commit like the major sins that we see, like the Ten Commandments, right? You
Mm-hmm.
realize that it may feel good to sin, but the
The
consequences
consequences,
is
right?
literally what keeps people in
Mm-hmm.
hellish turmoil,
In
in
bondage,
reality, in
yeah.
bondage.
Mm-hmm.
So the goal is understand what it is, recognize it, you see yourself do something, and then seek to improve. So continue to learn from what you do. You're not perfect, but always be willing to learn and
Right.
be connected. And as you go along in your journey, you're gonna find out that you're gonna become an amazing person. You're gonna become all that
Right.
the divine power
Yeah.
wanted you to be. All right, Jim. You got anything else to say to the nation, to the people? Let them know something that can encourage someone out there. Because also, too, I've been seeing a lot of attempted suicides happening.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
a lack of self. I've been seeing a lot of people like crashing and stuff. What do you
Yeah.
think it's all about as we end?
Child, I just was talking to this with one of my coworkers. Something going on in the spirit because listen, too much traffic fatalities and back to back too. I be like, if y'all can't see like something going on and something wrong, and then the suicides, I'm like, oh my gosh, like my heart is go out. You understand? But I really feel like it's again where people don't feel like they have a place to go to. They don't. When someone mess up or someone's life is overwhelming or they just seem like they can't take it, people is just they feel so discouraged because, like you say, they have to be perfect or they have to do it. No, give yourself some grace. You understand? Know that you can't do it. You can't do it, but God can. You understand? And that's where we have to learn to fall on our knees for every time. For every time.
Yeah, man. Like DJ Kelly say, God did. Yeah, man. Thank you so much for tuning in with another successful session of Meetme360 podcast. Comment, like, subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Y'all do well, man.